Welcome back to today's reading video. Today we are going to talk about all the books that I read in the month of June and also my July reading prompt. I've been doing reading prompts every month, and for the month of June, I decided to take a break from doing all the different reading prompts. I just decided to read whatever I wanted to read, so the prompt was my picks. And I'm so excited because I have finally found another 5-star read, which brings our total to 2 5-star reads for the year so far. But in the month of June, I read 3 physical books, 2 audiobooks, and we had 1 DNF. I'm also really excited to share July's reading prompt with you, but first, let's start with the books that I read in June. The book that I did not finish this month was Yesteryear by Carol Claire Burke. I'm really kind of confused with this book because let's just talk about what the book is about. So it's about a influencer who is a traditional wife. She has millions of followers. She has a homestead farm kind of living situation, I guess. And she posts her life on the farm with her kids and her husband to her millions of followers. Anyway, one day she wakes up and suddenly she is not living her life. So her husband looks like her husband, but isn't her husband. Her kids are not her kids, and just something is wrong. The problem for me at the 10% mark was just that I honestly did not care about her, about what was happening. I also feel like the writing of being a traditional wife was very extreme and meant to kind of scare people, or I guess women, from being a wife or a traditional wife. I feel like it was represented as like a type of evil, but it's not. Anyway, all that to say, I did find out what happens at the end, and part of me does kind of wish that I kept with it because the ending sounds crazy. I feel like at least having the ending explained to me could read almost like a thriller. But again, I was barely into the story and I just decided I would rather read something else. So I did, and I DNF'd this. But I am interested to hear other people's thoughts. So if you did read Yesteryear and you really enjoyed it, I want to hear about it. So let me know. Moving on up from the DNF, going to my lowest rated of the month, we have Beautiful Ugly by Alice Feeney. We're following our main character Grady, who is an author, and one night his wife goes missing and he never sees her again. And so he's trying to get back into writing, but he can't because there's not really any closure about his missing wife. So his agent sends him to an island. What is it called? To a Scottish island. I feel like it had a name, but I can't remember. So he goes there to kind of just reset, get his mind off of everything, and try to write another book. And he thinks that he sees his missing wife here at this island. Everyone on the island is mysterious. Wait, is the island called Beautiful Ugly? I can't. Oh, the Isle of Amberley. That's what it's called. Everyone on the island is mysterious. People are saying really odd and creepy things. There's no cell service. I feel like up until the 80% mark, when things are starting to get revealed, you start finding out what's actually going on, motives of different people, that's when I just completely checked out. Up until then, the mystery of what is happening, what is going on, gripped me so tight. I remember being out at different music events in town and just like randomly thinking about like, I wonder what's gonna happen next. Like I really thought about this book often, just out in my daily life. But then it was when we got to that 80% mark that it was so unsatisfying. Everything was revealed, and I feel like the author was almost like pushing a certain way of thinking that is just so tired nowadays, and I just did not care about it. But then also something that Alice Feeney does with her books is you will be following someone and then something will be revealed, and then everything that you just read following like a certain perspective is completely erased, like because what you were reading was not what you were actually reading. There's also a twist at the very end, or well, not everything is a plot twist, but there's just something that happens at the very end where I was just like okay. So 2 stars. I did enjoy the beginning up until 80%. And that's a long time to be strung along. Still working our way up to the 5-star. Next on audio, I listened to June Baby by Shannon Garvey, I think her name is. Oh my gosh, Shannon Garvey, I got it right. I don't even have the book. This is the book that I started listening to after I decided not to finish Yesteryear. So I started this actually on June 1st, which is my birthday. But I really wanted to read this book in the month of June. So June Baby follows our main character, Ruth, who goes to live on Block Island with her mom's best friend after her mother passes away. Her dad just doesn't really want to take care of her, so he drops her off with Diana on Block Island, and Diana has a son named Charlie. The book basically follows Ruth returning to Block Island years later after Diana passes away and confronts her past living there and her old relationship with Charlie. I would recommend this book in the summer. However, every single choice that the main character made was terrible. Everything she did, it was a terrible choice. I can't think of one right thing that she did. There are conflicts with Ruth and Charlie, and she's finding out different things about her mother's past and Diana's past. So I don't really know if I would recommend this. Like, yeah, give it a try if you want a summary read. I mean, the setting is definitely there. What happens in the setting of Ruth and the different characters and all the things, it wasn't really a standout read. Ruth was not a fun protagonist. So 3 stars. And of course, because it was my picks for the month, I really wanted to continue the When in Rome series. So I picked up the second one, Practice Makes Perfect. I just love these characters. I love this book. I love this series. I love the small town. I love the family and almost like kind of found family aspect of it too, even though like the Walker siblings are siblings, but there's still like a found family aspect to it. So in this book we are following Noah's sister Annie, and she is the town florist. She has a little flower shop, and she strikes a deal with Amelia's bodyguard to basically like practice dating. He coaches her through like how to go on a date, different dating things. I honestly am torn between which book I liked more, this one or When in Rome. And I am kind of afraid to continue the series because I've heard that When in Rome and Practice Makes Perfect are like the best in the series compared to the other two. So I'm a little afraid to continue, but of course I am because I want to see these people again. But I gave this 4 stars because it was just such a fun read. Like it's very light. This did not disappoint. So if you haven't picked up this series yet, which I feel like I am the last person to do so, but if you somehow have not picked up the series, I highly recommend. Also, Sarah Adams lives in Nashville, so it's kind of fun reading like a local Nashville author, even though the series does not take place in Nashville, but it's still kind of fun to just know that she lives here. This one kind of came out of nowhere. I honestly just wanted to listen to another audiobook, and I was scrolling on Libby just seeing what was readily available, and I saw this, but I didn't really think much of it. And so as one does, I switched over to Instagram to just randomly scroll, and I saw that this book is being made into a movie with Nina Dobrev and Paul Wesley. I did not watch Vampire Diaries, so I don't know if that name is correct, but apparently these guys are like the it couple in that show. I have no idea, don't come for me. So then I went back to my Libby app and I said, borrow. That book was You Deserve to Know. This is by Aggie Thompson Bloom, I'm pretty sure her name is. There's so much to describe here, but basically we are following 3 different women who are all neighbors. They all have husbands and kids. They live in the same cul-de-sac in the neighborhood. And one morning, one of the wives' husbands is found dead. And honestly, it just gets crazier from there. There are so many secrets and affairs and pasts coming to light and family problems. Like, this book has it all. The way that it all pieces together, but then has like a really satisfying conclusion at the end. I really enjoyed this book. There was so much to the story, but at the same time, it was really easy to follow and it wasn't so scattered, I guess. I actually think this would be a great summer mystery. I don't think it necessarily takes place in the summertime, but I feel like there were scenes with them like barbecuing and stuff and just like being out on the patio. I would recommend reading this in the summertime. Seriously, this book is so good. I am so excited that I found this book, that this is getting turned into a movie. I can't wait to watch this play out in front of my eyes. Then we have my 5-star read, my second 5-star of the entire year. I knew this was gonna be a 5-star. I had no doubt in my head. The Burning Side by Sarah Damoff. I actually did a reading vlog of The Bright Years last year. I read that book, I think in the summertime. I have watched people try to describe Sarah Damoff's writing, and it just cannot be described. You cannot put words on her words, but I'm just coming up short. And I'm a songwriter. Like, I use my words for a living and I can't tell you. So in The Burning Side, we are watching our main characters, Leo and April, navigate how their life changes after their house burns down. And you also get a third perspective in here from someone else, and it just like rounds out the whole story. This person also has secrets. There's also something about Leo's perspective in here that I just always looked forward to whenever it would be from his perspective. I feel like everyone has that when it's like a multiple POV book. You just have that one character that you're like, oh, I can't wait to hear what they have to say. That was Leo for me. I really don't know why. There's just something about his words that I just looked forward to, and his history and upbringing, how he entered into his marriage with April and all that kind of stuff. I just really enjoyed that. I know I will always get a great story with Sarah Demoff, and this did not disappoint. I'm actually working on writing a song for this book. This has nothing to do with the author or the publishing house or anything like that. This book just inspired me to want to write a song for this book and this story. So I'm working on that. It'll probably just be up on my Instagram, like just a little acoustic thing, like it's not a big production or whatever, but this is just like sticking with me so hard. I have to just put it to music. Those are the books that I read in June, and I'm so excited to share my July reading prompt with you. I feel like it might be kind of obvious just with us going into these months, the seasons, the sunny days, all that kind of stuff. And I am a mood reader and seasonal reader. So of course I want to read these types of books for these types of months. So my reading prompt for the month of July is going to be summer settings. I have to do summer settings in the month of July. I already snuck in a couple summery kind of books in June, but in July we are going to just all out do summer settings. So here are some books that I think will be a great pick for summer settings reading prompt. Well, the first one I've already started, and it's not with me because it's downstairs and I'm not gonna go get it, but I've already started Spectacular Things by Beck Dorey-Stein. I think it still does take place in the summer. I mean, I'm like 50 pages in. I'm not very far at all. I feel like the cover is a little misleading because so far it's very heavily about soccer, which is great. I'm watching the World Cup. I'm really enjoying it. So it's a great book to read right now during the World Cup, during all the soccer things going on. I'm interested to see, I mean, at least like why the cover is so summery compared to all the soccer content going on, which again, is great and fine, but I picked it up because I thought it was a summer setting book. And I did look up that it does actually take place in the summer, so maybe we're getting to that. We're just getting some background first. And again, I'm only 50 pages in, so really, I'm not far at all. But in Spectacular Things, we are following our two sisters, Mia and Cricket, and their mother is basically instilling in them to become soccer players. That's where I'm at right now. Like, we get a little bit of history and we get kind of like a prologue in the beginning. We get right into it, which is great. But I've never read any books by this author, so I'm interested to see if I like this book, what other types of books she has out. But yeah, I would say to pick up this book, at least right now during the World Cup. Like, it's kind of fun to read about women's soccer and then watching like the men's soccer World Cup and everything like that. So really liking this so far. Another book I really want to get to is Summer Sisters by Judy Blume. I feel like with the amount of books that have the word summer in the title, that could be its own reading prompt like next year sometime, is just reading books with the word summer in the title, because there are so many. Truly, I do not know anything about this book. Like literally not a single thing. I will say I was kind of flipping through it and I was seeing that there are a lot of perspectives, and so I might listen to this on audio, but I'm not quite sure yet. And I don't even know what this is about, but it just looks cute. And Summer Sisters during summer settings. Yeah, I will be listening to this or reading this in the month of July. Okay, I'm gonna be so honest. This next one, I honestly don't really want to read, but I have it physically, so I might as well. But this is It's a Love Story by Annabelle Monaghan. I know this is a summer setting because it's tagged as a summer reads on Goodreads. I've done 2 Annabelle Monaghan books before. I did Same Time Next Summer, Same Time Next Year, whatever that book is called, and I gave it 2 stars. I really did not like that book. I can't remember what I didn't like about it, but I didn't like it. Then I tried Nora Goes Off Script. I wasn't really interested. I gave it like 20 pages, so really I did not get into it very far. But nothing is really drawing me to this, and then it's like I don't know if I want to spend time on a book that I don't even want to read in the first place. I feel like there's a lot of people that really like this author, and so part of me wants to just like hop on board, but if you've read this, convince me to read it, because part of me just doesn't really want to. Okay, last I think for what I'm going to read for the summer settings prompt is Husbands and Lovers by Beatrice Williams. Now, I don't know that this book takes place in the summer. That's the hard part about this prompt is, I mean, I could Google it and find out, but with a cover like this, I mean, it just looks like it gives summer vibes, but there's nothing really that says anything about being set in the summer in the little synopsis. Husbands and Lovers is an unforgettable journey of heartbreak and redemption from the revolutionary fires of mid-century Egypt to the moneyed beaches of contemporary New England. Again, this is another one that doesn't really draw me in. Like, I'm not super interested in this, and I actually haven't really even heard anything about this, but I mean, there's only one way to find out if I like it, so I think I'm gonna add this to my summer settings TBR. I think that this would be a good one, and it's different. I mean, it taking place in New England and Egypt. I don't think I've ever read a book taking place in Egypt, so that would be kind of interesting. But yeah, I think we're gonna go with this one. I mean, again, I'm not really interested, like, I'm not drawn into the little synopsis here. We will give it a shot. Those are the books that I am wanting to read for the summer settings reading prompt. Let me know also if you've read any of the books that I read in the month of June. Again, it was a really great reading month. I'm really happy with my reads, and I am looking forward to the books that I will read in July as well. Let me know what you read in June, and I hope you have a great day, a great reading month, and I will see you in the next one.